Welcome back to Battle of Champions. Just minutes to go for that all-important toss in the India versus New Zealand game. What we're getting to hear from Dubai is that Hardik Pandya is most likely to start, but we'll confirm that in a bit once the toss happens. We're still joined by Pragyan Ojha, Harbhajan Singh, Ross Taylor and Rahul Rawat here in the studio with me. Harbhajan, let's talk about that one positive that India had in that Pakistan encounter, and that was Virat Kohli coming back into that outstanding form that we've become so accustomed to seeing with him. He's once again going to be the key, the man that the Indian batting order revolves around?
Yeah, Virat Kohli, he's a champion player, there's no doubt about it. When it comes to, situation like this, big games, semi-final, final, or any big game, he just want to be there out there and scoring those runs for Team India. And I'm sure he's going to come good. He'll be itching to go out there and show what he can do. And I wish him all the luck and hope that he come out with the flying colours by scoring a lot of runs and lead the team really well from the front.
Right, Ross, you've spoken about how New Zealand always looks at these matchups. We've spoken enough about those left-arm pacers versus the top order. But the one very interesting matchup is going to be Ish Sodhi when he comes on to bowl versus Virat Kohli. We've seen leg spinners trouble Virat in the past. Adam Zampa is one bowler that comes to mind. So is that something that they would be working on?
Yes, definitely something that's discussed a lot. There's not many things that Virat can't do, but he is a little bit vulnerable to leg spin early on. And Ish is a world-class bowler and will be thriving at this. But Kohli's a fantastic player, and I expect to continue that form. But definitely look for Kane, especially those first few overs outside the power play, for Ish to come on and look to try and get Kohli with a Rongan or a Googly early on in his innings.
Okay, let's listen in to a spinner as well. Pragyan, what do you make of that matchup, Ish Sodhi versus Virat Kohli?
Virat Kohli, I think more than Virat, it will be Sodhi who will be under pressure, because when you're bowling against Virat, you never know when that man just dominates you. On any given day, he'll come out and he'll just make sure that whatever the analyst or the past records are, he'll just break them. It will not make sense. That's how he is, and that's how he's played his cricket. Yes, he's he is not comfortable off late against leg spinners, but it's just matter of time. And I'm very sure all of us who have watched Virat closely, he's been practicing really hard against spinners, especially the leg spinners in the nets, so that he gets his flow right. So that's what a champion batsman does and champion cricketer does. That's what he's been doing. And once he gets a hang of it, and as I said, sky is the limit.
Harbhajan Singh, what about Virat Kohli? We all know Virat Kohli as batsman, how much India would be banking on him. But as captain, it's also about his legacy, because this is his last assignment as India's T20 captain, and we don't know whether after this tournament, whether we will see Virat as a captain in white ball format as far as Indian team is concerned, because selectors are yet to take a call on the ODI captain. So this becomes a very, very important match as far as Virat is concerned.
Well, I think you can't really control those things. You can only control the controllables. Few things are not in players' hand. Whatever is destined, that will happen. All you can do as a player is just go out there and express yourself and play the positive way of you're known to play for. And I'm sure that's what they'll be looking for. And whatever may be the results, they will accept that. But I'm sure, if they'll play positive, if they'll play with intent, if they'll play with that hunger, I'm sure they're going to come out with the flying colours.
Ross, is it fair to say as important Virat is for that Indian batting lineup, the same role Kane Williamson has for the Kiwi team? His form's a bit patchy this year. I was just taking a look at a few numbers, but do you reckon, when it comes to the big encounters, usually it are the big players that really stand up?
Very much so. I think, you look to any side around the world, look to the captain to stand up on these big occasions. But you can't do it all by yourself. He will rely on Martin Guptill, Tim Southey, Trent Boult take a little bit of the load and make his job as easy as possible. And we talk about these matches. New Zealand love being the underdogs and look for Kane to just play it down as much as possible, knowing it is a big game. But this New Zealand team love to thrive on being the underdog status, regardless of what the results are. But Kane Williamson is definitely a big part, and I'm sure India will be looking to get him early, regardless of whether New Zealand are batting or bowling first.
All right, latest update now we could give our viewers here from Dubai. New Zealand have won the toss and have decided to field first. No surprise there, Ross?
No, not at all. I think the stats suggest that you're a better chance of winning the game. But look for Trent Boult to try and emulate what Shaheen Afridi did in the last match. But Rohit's faced Boulty, I'm sure, many a times in the nets for Mumbai, and I think Adam Milne. I'm sure he's probably in the mix somewhere around there, and Kane will be looking to them to try and get those early breakthroughs to put this middle order of India under some pressure.
All right, we're also getting news as far as the team is concerned. You've got Adam Milne coming in for Tim Seifert, and Devon Conwell will now be keeping. Ross, quickly, your thoughts on that? You spoke about Milne coming in, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, I think going in with the 4 specialist bowlers, I just got the feeling that Kane felt like he was under pressure, knowing that if Jimmy Neesham or Daryl Mitchell went the journey, there wasn't a lot of other options up his sleeve. We're now going on with the 5 specialist bowlers. If one of them do go the journey, then Neesh can come in and bowl 1 or 2 overs if necessary. But three-pronged fast bowling attack. A few of the teams around the world are doing that at the moment in these conditions. So I think just that extra pace and that point of difference through the middle, will give Kane just a few more things up his sleeve to hopefully put India under some pressure.
Okay, we can also tell you what the Indian team is at the moment. You could see that Bhuvneshwar Kumar is not part of that playing 11. That's the first thing that you can confirm. Mohammad Shami is still playing. So is Jasprit Bumrah, Varun Chakravarti. Shardul Thakur comes in for Bhuvneshwar Kumar. That is something that can be confirmed at the moment. Hardik Pandya is also playing, as we had mentioned earlier. And as well as Ravindra Jadeja is there. Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Rahul, was expected.
No Suryakumar Yadav.
No Suryakumar Yadav.
Ishan.
So Ishan Kishan comes in.
Yes.
So that's the other change. So 2 changes then basically for the Indian team. One, Shardul Thakur coming in for Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and no Suryakumar Yadav. Ishan Kishan comes in. Pragyan Oja in the studio with us. What do you make of that first change? We were talking about Ishan Kishan for Suryakumar Yadav.
I think it's a very smart move, I would say. Everybody were discussing about Hardik Pandya being replaced by Ishan Kishan, but it's a master stroke. You have all your guys, then Ishan Kishan comes in place of Suryakumar Yadav, and then as we were discussing, Shardul Thakur should be playing. I was very confident, and it's a perfect 11.
And also Nikhil, Suryakumar Yadav, he's been advised rest because he had complained of back spasms, and that is the reason why Ishan Kishan comes in for Suryakumar Yadav. Shardul Thakur, as a lot of people were saying that he should come in place of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who's been off color of late. But Ishan Kishan, I just want to ask Pragyan, where do you want to see him bat now?
Just to give you an update, I think the captain has said he will bat at the top of the order.
That means he is opening with Rohit Sharma, a left-right combination.
What do you reckon, Pragyan? Open or top of the order could mean anything. I don't know, number 3 and Virat then opens, or he comes at 4. I don't know. What would you want to see?
Yes, top of the order is quite clear that Ishan will open, if that is a statement, because I don't endorse at all Virat coming down. Number 3 is Virat Kohli. That's where he should bat.
So who's your number 4 then?
Number 4, I think KL Rahul. KL Rahul should come. That's what you can do. You don't want your best batsman who's got some runs shuffling his batting order.
In fact,
Virat Kohli, obviously I'm talking about.
In fact, this is exactly what Harbhajan Singh had just mentioned, that he wanted to see Ishan Kishan right at the top, opening with Rohit Sharma, so that we have that left-right combination. KL Rahul, in the past we've seen Virat Kohli has mentioned that they are actually looking at KL Rahul as a middle order batsman in white ball format. So of course that also tells you about the changes that the Indian team has done. Of course, they've lost this crucial toss. They've lost this crucial toss, and they'll be and New Zealand are fielding first. Of course, India now going to bat.
Let's talk about that toss, Pragyan. That is something that you really can't control, but it's happened. Now, what must be the mindset of the Indian team now that they will be batting first?
I think it's just that 10-15 runs extra, and the most important thing will be what is the winning total that they need to get. Once you know that, then you can plan, and also you have batters who can give you those quick runs in the death. So the most important thing will be how this openers and Virat Kohli give a start. That is where everything depends. And also I'll tell you, the beauty about this Indian team is, you know, you've got so many players who are so versatile. Look at KL Rahul. He's been opening, he's coming down. I think how many players you see in world cricket do that. I think that is brilliant, and it shows our strength. I'm not trying to boost about Indian team, but I'm very sure, you know, this will give a very strong statement that we are very confident about our batting and bowling.
I wonder, Pragyan, if those, you know, few knocks that he played in one-day cricket, if I'm not mistaken, KL batting at number 4, those explosive knocks that may have prompted the thought of having him at number 4 in this encounter?
Yes, and even in Test cricket, initially he was considered in the middle order, but because of the injuries, he was promoted up the order and he got those runs. That's what I'm saying, you know. Right now, Indian cricket is just flexing its muscle, and I'm really glad that you know, the system that we have always you know, they surprise you with their performance, and I'm very sure, you know, one odd game it happens, but if you see consistently, this team has the potential of doing well and surprising best of the teams.
Okay, let's get a thought from Ross Taylor as well. Ross, what do you make of those two Indian changes? I'm going to look at the batting order first. Now we know that Ishan Kishan, as they've said, top of the order, so probably is going to be opening the innings for the Indian team, in which case you'll have KL Rahul batting at number 4. Does that make that batting order a bit more explosive now?
I mean, it's as everyone said so far, it's just amazing that you can move a player of KL Rahul's stature down the order and give themselves such a good bout. Once again, just that right-left-hand combination will just make Southee and Bolt have to change their lines, knowing that, you know, if they did have those 3 up the top, all right-handers, becoming a little bit more predictable. So, you know, having that left-right combination, you still got Rashid Pant through the middle to put pressure on the spin and give that right-left-hand combination if they, you know, if they feel fit. But, you know, Dubai is probably one of the biggest boundaries in the UAE. So, you know, having that right-left-hand combination and being able to target those shorter boundaries, you know, just gives that India that little bit more balance.
That India going with that explosive batting lineup, as I was saying, just looking at how the New Zealand bowlers are going to match up. In case, you know, you have that explosive start from India, which you see more often than not. I'm taking a look at the Kiwi team, plenty of bowling options. We had thought that they might have dropped an all-rounder and then got someone like a Milne, but that's not what they've done. They've kept those 2 all-rounders as well. So you've got, like, what, 7 odd bowling options? That must be a big cushion for the skipper. Ross, if you can hear me. Ross, can you hear me? Okay, it seems we've lost the connection with Ross. I'll throw the same question to you, Pragyan. Just looking at New Zealand's bowling options, they've got 2 seaming all-rounders, then they've got 3 fast bowlers and those 2 spinners. Plenty of options for the captain to go to.
I think that is something what always Indian cricket has had this debate about, you know, having those medium pace all-rounders. So that is one of the biggest cushions. I remember one headlines when Jack Callis was retiring. It said that South Africa's biggest cushion is going to retire. That means he can bat, he can bowl, he can win you in both departments. So that is something, and especially in T20 cricket, everybody wants an all-rounder who can give you some runs with the bat and with the ball. And especially when you're playing against a team like India, you have to make sure that you have 3 or 4 options ready, where you have to throw at the Indians.
Okay, the one thing that we've been talking about, Rahul, let me get your thoughts on that, is that whether India will have the 6th bowling option or not. The latest updates that I've been reading is that Hardik Pandya has been marking his run-up. He's been running around and bowling a few. So that's a sign that if need be, he's going to be available today.
Well, Nikhil, the first time that we got to know that Hardik Pandya has started bowling, at least in the nets, was when this was just before the Pakistan game. You spoke to Sunny Bhai on the show, and he was the one who actually mentioned that he saw Hardik bowling in the nets. So if he's been bowling in the nets for the last 8 odd days, I'm sure he's doing, he's good enough to bowl at least a couple of overs. And Virat has already said, he's already mentioned that he can also roll his arm over. But the point is, what Virat said was that if they are fielding first, that is when he can actually bowl a few overs. But when they're chasing, or when they are rather defending, it becomes difficult, because he would want his premier bowlers to bowl those 20 overs. So that's where I think India might struggle a bit. I just, Nikhil, with your permission,
Sure. Yeah,
I just
please.
wanted to ask Ross one thing. I know, toss, of course, does impact, at least is impacting the games here. But Ross, can it be a blessing in disguise for India, because they don't have the pressure of chasing here? If it's a big game, if we are saying that it's a virtual quarter-final, is it a blessing in disguise for India?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes it definitely can play a part and be a blessing. And, obviously for Indian fans, they'll be hoping that. Sometimes when you look at the stats and, as we've talked about today, the stats are saying that you would win the majority of the games bowling first. Can put extra pressure, and Bolt and Southey know that they have to get those early wickets, and if they aren't able to penetrate this Indian batting lineup, then I think the momentum starts to shift. India get a little bit more confident, and then that can flow on into the batting. Finding out what a par total is going to be crucial. I think if you look at all the games so far, I think some of the teams probably haven't gone out hard enough. But if you can just keep those wickets in hand, knowing the power that India has all the way through their batting lineup, if they can even just reach that par total, whether it's 150, 160, 170, that will put pressure on New Zealand. Everyone knows you get a couple of wickets, that becomes a lot tougher.
All right, Ross, we'll leave it at that. Completely out of time, but thanks so much for joining us from New Zealand. As I said, I hope you've kept your coffee handy, because we're going to have you during the mid-innings as well as when the game closes. It probably would be your early morning coffee by that time. It'll be 6 a.m. in the morning. But
Hopefully with an India win.
Well,
I don't know whether Ross.
Absolutely, we could do a chairs on air if that was to happen. I don't know how happy Ross would be in that case. But thanks so much for joining us, Ross Taylor, Pragyan Oja, Rahul Rawatiya, and Harbhajan Singh. Thanks so much for your thoughts as well. Just a quick update of what's happened in Dubai. India once again haven't won the toss. That means they're going to be batting first. New Zealand will chase in this particular encounter. 2 changes for India. You've got Shardul Thakur come into the playing 11. So has Ishan Kishan come in place of Suryakumar Yadav. We'll wrap up our show here, but don't forget to tune in during the mid-innings, and we'll see how many runs India have notched up by then.